You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show. Yes, it's the Finnish Football Show match report episode. Today we're going to be looking back at Finland 2, Montenegro 0. Game was played yesterday, and we've got a very full team today. I'm joined by usual co-host Keke Muleri. Hi, Keke.
Terve.
We're by Rich Nelson. Hi, Rich.
Hello.
We've got a new member of the Finnish Football Show team. This is making his debut today is Ali Manson. Hi, Ali.
Moi guys, nice to be here.
And I think what we'll do is we'll record a separate show where we maybe get to know you a little bit more and introduce you to people. But you were at the game last night, so it'll be good to get your insights. And as well as someone making their debut, we've got an extra special guest today, Hulkijat defender Robert Ivanov. Hi, Robert.
Hi guys, nice to be here.
Thank you. So we've just recorded an in conversation episode with Robert, a nice long hour-long special episode that will be coming maybe after all these Nations League games. But we thought, seeing as he was in the centre of the action, we'd ask him to stick around, and he graciously accepted. So, Rich, we talked a couple of days ago about the game against Bosnia-Herzegovina that ended it disappointingly with the very last minute equaliser. Talk us through the way the Hulkijat lined up for the start of the game.
There are a few changes to the team. I think after we talked about before 4 games in 11 days, a lot of players coming to the end of a long season. There's changed, especially we highlighted before about fullback and Alho and Jere Urunen were rested, and in came Albin Granlund and Ilmari Niskanen. Lucas Lingman came in midfield in place of Rasmus Schuller, and the much campaigned Joel Pohjanpalo, after his 16 goals in Turkey this season, came in up front, and I think he made his message quite clear. We'll go into that, but he's whatever grievance he had after not coming on at the end of the Bosnia game. He definitely made a statement.
Keke, talk us through some of the early action in the game.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought Montenegro they sort of tried to sort of soak up the pressure. Rob and the guys had plenty of time on the ball at the back. I don't think they were under too much stress. They managed to pass it around, and sort of Finland looked to build from the back. I think I don't know if you'd agree with that, Rob, but the you guys at the back seemed to pass the ball along, and Finland sort of had to wait for that sort of penetrating pass, and there was a good few opportunities. I mean, there was patient, slow build up, and then just looking for that burst of pace or that threaded through ball to create that opportunity. But there was 1 or 2 in the first half.
Yeah, I thought there was some nice sort of individual dribbling. 13th minute, Glenn Kamara went weaving down the left into the box, but his shot went astray. And again, there was some really nice 1 and 2 touch football. We also had Richard Jensen making his debut at the back there as well. So there was different things going on across the team. Let's ask Robert, how was it, Robert? The 2 home games in a few days. How were the 2 games? How do you compare the 2 games? How they went?
Well, Montenegro was much more passive when we had the ball. So, like Keke said, that we had plenty of the ball. We could play out, and if I'm 100% honest, their press was a little bit weird.
Weird, okay.
Yeah, because like we had 3 central defenders and 1-6, or maybe Lingman or maybe Glenn also sometimes coming in, but like we could play out them almost every time. And okay, they switched a little bit on the second half, but especially the first half was a little bit like it seemed like they didn't scout us at all, or I don't know why, but it seemed like easy to play, and then just quality difference was quite big also to the Bosnia game. Yeah, Montenegro was quite tall team. Before the game, Rive said that the average height is like 188 in the starting lineup, so it was quite like basketball team in a way. So we had to be prepared for the set pieces to be strong in there. And but yeah, still in terms of playing out from the back, we could. We were better in the Montenegro game, of course, also because of Montenegro's pressing. But yeah, we were good.
And it was this 1 and 2 touch passing that was in evidence for the first goal. And about 30th minute, Demir Bulki with a 1-2 with Robin Ludd on the edge of the box. Actually, I mean, there were a lot more passes before that. Rich sent round a diagram of this move that started right at the back. I don't know. I didn't see if it started with you yourself, Robert, but it was right there at the back, and the ball went zigzagging all the way up and down across the pitch. But it culminated with this 1-2 on the edge of the box, and Demir drove to the byline and crossed the ball for Joel Pohjanpalo to tap in. And to be honest with you, as soon as that ball left Demir's boot, I was cheering because I could just see it was going to him, and the goal was gaping.
Yeah, and I think it was nice to see also that to see Temeh, Jolle, and Reba playing like 3 strikers. So it was like quite nice to see how well they could play together. It wasn't like surprising, but they, like you said, also the 1-2 passes, wall passes all the time. It was just beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, it must be, from your vantage point, Rob, it must be absolutely fantastic to watch that kind of move come off, you know, especially as it starts with you guys at the back. I mean, yeah, we mentioned there Richard Jensen playing his first game in the national team, and it looked like he'd been there forever. He helped with the move, and yeah, that little bit on the edge of the box from Robin Ludd there was fantastic. I mean, could you see the goal building from where you were standing? Did you sort of think, this is it, here we go?
Yeah, and there was like earlier also few situations where there was just like the pass was too long or too short, and that like it was just about to click, and then it clicked. And yeah, when it went in, I was just like, you know, like celebrating, like what's a goal, you know. Like I was so sure that there's gonna be Twitter, you know, this I don't know how you say it in English, but this Twitter where they tweet a lot of stuff, like, and they're gonna go the goal one by one, you know, like screenshot, yeah. Like this is the perfect, you know, goal. I was like immediately like, this is gonna be hit. So yeah, it was nice, very nice. I had the best view probably of it. Yeah.
Well, Ali was in the stadium as well. How was your view, Ali? Maybe of the second goal as well. It was maybe just describe the goal as you saw it.
Yeah, I mean, you said earlier about, you know, as soon as Teemu crossed it across the 6-yard box for the first goal that we knew it was in. I sort of felt it was exactly the same for the second as well, and sometimes that helps when you're behind the goal as well. I don't know whether that's just like a fan's instinct or sort of hopeful wishing or whatever it is, but as soon as that ball was whipped in, you knew where it was going, and yeah, I think it just really shows that when Teemu and Joel play up front with each other, it makes a difference. It really does, and you know, the fact that Finland had 66% possession in the first half, you know things are going to get created, and Finland had to be patient, of course. But yeah, I think the fact that the second goal came 7 minutes after the first, it really set us onto a good win. And
Did describe that goal, Ali?
Yeah, so I mean, from where I was, as soon as the ball sort of got whipped in, I come back to the striker's instincts, and I mean I might be doing Yola a bit of a disservice here, but he just swung an instinctive leg at it, and again, I don't want to do that as a disservice. It's a compliment more than anything, I believe. But yeah, I mean, it was it Lucas Lingman who brought the ball in, I believe, for from the free kick. And again, as soon as it sort of left his foot, you knew the ball was good. And then you look over, you go, okay, where's it going? And you see Yol there, and you go, it's got to be a second. And of course, it was only the second shot on target as well. So maybe, we were just in a green patch at that moment.
It was sorry.
No, it was brilliant. I mean, like you say, instinctive striker's finish, and you know, the ball didn't even touch the ground, did it? He stretched and volleyed it into the roof of the net. I mean, it was it's some finish there. I mean, you can say he swung a leg at it, but you know, he's volleyed it into the roof of the net, giving the keeper no chance. It was absolutely fantastic to see, and it was nice to go 2-0 up. And there's some, kudos to all the photographers who we follow in Instagram, because some brilliant photos come out. I mean, you didn't waste any time, Rob. You were straight up there celebrating with Yole.
Yeah. Well, I like to celebrate the goals. That's my thing, and especially when they're beautiful ones. It's nice to celebrate them. And Jolle had in the second half also a good chance from the also free kick to score the third one, but he missed the ball, and then Niskanen almost scored. So we were quite dangerous from the set pieces.
Is that something particularly that you'd worked on? You said before that Montenegro were particularly high, Pitka, tall, high, long. That they were particularly tall team. And we've said that in both games there was a lot of this really sharp one-touch football. Was it deliberate way to try and deal with that height, or is it just the way that the team is developing?
I think it's how the team is developing. Like there's a lot of bowlers in the squad, and when you put them all together and you can put them in a position where they can do those one-touch flicks, and when we start like that, it also the defenders, they're not gonna jump anymore, so they're gonna stay more down. And then when they're gonna start staying more down, then they have, after a few situations, they have more space to take the ball. You don't have to flick it anymore. Then you can just control it and go forward, and then that's also dangerous. So I think it's just about clicking now, and then I think it's also about finding, like I said, Röba, Jolle and Teemu at the same time on the pitch, because it's been difficult with the 5-3-2 whatever. And now when we play with three strikers, more or less, it worked, and I think it's very, very, very good. Like when you look at the future, it's good that we can play all those three guys together.
It certainly gives River something to think about, doesn't it? You know, I mean, it like you say, Rob, it was fantastic to see those three guys clicking with each other in the final third on the edge of the box there. And you know, we're big fans of Robin Lod. We see what he does in MLS. He's either creating or scoring goals every week over there. So it's brilliant to see him doing the same thing for Hawkia.
Yeah.
Keke, can you tell us a little bit about the second half, because we came in at half time, as Ali said, with 66% possession in favour of Finland, which is always a nice statistic to have for your team. How did the second half pan out?
Well, I thought it was what you'd sort of expect, really. I think Montenegro realised they had nothing to lose, and they sort of came out of their shell a bit more. I think, you know, Robert and the guys at the back were a little bit busier. They did what you'd expect, as you guys have said. They were a tall side. They lumped a few balls into the box, and they weren't sitting back, trying to soak up pressure. They did sort of come out of their shell a little bit more. But again, with them doing that, that left a bit more space for us in areas, and we had our chances as well. You know, we spoke just a minute ago about that one chance where sort of poor old Yole was trying so hard for the hat-trick. He sort of air shot, he sort of air kicked the ball, but it made its way over to Imi Niskanen there, and he had an opportunity to make it 3-0. But yeah, I think that I don't know if you'd agree with me, Rob, but you know, I do think that Montenegro came out a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, and like you said, they didn't have anything to lose anymore, and I think they subbed 3 players out and 3 players in at the halftime, and they put some pressure on. But I think like we said, like I said, it's again a lot of new players, so we probably learned from the Bosnia game that we still need to play still, and not to go into that shell and to start defend the whole second half, and to try to keep the ball, and in a way to try to just tire them out. And I think we succeeded in that. They had like 1-2 chances in the end, but we could handle them, and yeah. We could score the third one, and we were like trying to. We spoke about it at the halftime that let's go score the third one and then just be done with it. But yeah, we couldn't. But still, I think it was quite mature second half from us.
You had a good opportunity yourself, Robert, on 78th minute, a header.
Yeah, need to be more aggressive in those situations. Maybe
heading practice over the next couple of days.
Yeah. Watch some Arajuri clips and. But yeah, that's my weak spot that I need to practice and to get better.
But this thing about substitutions, I got really bored of watching international friendlies when teams would bring on 6, 7, 8 in substitutions, and the last half hour would just die. And I fear that may become the way things go in competitive games, because you're allowed more and more substitutions. I know at the moment we're in this really weird situation of 4 games in 10 or 11 days, so it's kind of understandable. But how do you feel about that as a player out on the pitch with all these subs going on? Is it difficult?
Well, as a centre back, you usually when you start the game, you finish the game. So I haven't thought about it in that way, but definitely, for example, if you start with Glenn and Lingman in the midfield, and then you can put Schüller there for the last 20 or 30 minutes, you get hyped about it, that you get that kind of a player there, and especially in that position that we are leading 2-0, and so in a way I understand what you're saying, but then again, like you said, it's been a long season. It's been like last year, some players didn't have vacation at all after the Euro, and now again we have these games, and again we don't have a lot of vacation. The season starts again in middle of July for some, so it's just like you need the especially those 5 substitutions to have, and I don't know. As long as it goes like this, I don't think that they're gonna put it out the rule, because it's so hectic, and you don't want to get injured, and it's difficult to maintain the level of football if you play every 4 or 3 days. So
yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
I mean, you said, Rob, about Rade coming in there, and like obviously, that's not a trade down at all. That's like bringing Rade on for to end the game is like something else. And
the quality of the substitutions we've got now to be able to make is just incredible.
But I mean, Rade was running about like we were 2-0 down, not 2-0 up. He came out like a man possessed. I mean, and we've been lucky enough to have Rade on the show, and he's such a nice and gentle guy. But he's got that thing. He must have that thing. As soon as you step over that white line, he's a different person, because you see him.
We were laughing about it after the game. Like I said to him that I enjoyed it when he came on and he started shouting at everybody and like, get your game on and stop missing your passes. And I don't know, maybe like you said, he's man possessed when he enters the pitch. But it's good. It's good. You need that, especially when the game is a little bit, sluggish, and there's like this kind of that nobody really knows what's going on. You need a little kick up the ass to wake up and be to finish the game properly, and that's what Rade did, and he really helped us.
Ali, was it your first game at the Olympia Stadium?
It was, yeah.
Give us a little bit of colour, a bit of flavour of your experience and the crowd and the game in general.
Yeah, the first thing that I noticed, and I'm a currently suffering Man United fan at the moment, and yeah, I know, and I think the biggest thing that I took away, and I sort of at half time, I really sort of stood back and had this realization of how organized the Olympia Stadium is at the moment in terms of how fan friendly it is, and I was comparing that to the state of Old Trafford and actually many stadiums within the UK that they haven't been built with the modern fan in mind. Like I went through the north entrance, and you've got all this open space. You've got bars to your right. You've got stalls selling shirts, memorabilia, scarves, everything, and it's just that massive space that, from a fan's point of view, I think it is one of the most perfect welcomes you can get before you get into a football stadium, and so much space makes the fan feel at ease, relaxed, as opposed to getting shuttled into a crowded area. It was really the perfect way to enter a stadium, really.
I think there was a couple of people who sort of thumbed their nose to the amount of time and the amount of money that the Olympia Stadium renovation cost and the amount of time it took. But I think it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, obviously, where you guys come out, Rob, those old sort. I mean, the place was built in 1952. Where the players come onto the pitch, those beautiful doors that you guys have. I mean, how are the changing rooms and that these days after the renovation?
Well, I wasn't there when the old stadium was in, so I don't know how the changing rooms was back then. But now it's like modern as it can be. Like everything is perfect. There's sauna, there is ice baths, there is a lot of space, like Ali said there also. So you just feel like you're in a proper stadium, and it feels like also like a football locker room. So yeah, no complaints for me.
And Robert and Ali both, because I've heard Keke talk about this before, I want some new perspectives. Give Ali first your perspective on the Pohjoiskarre, the fans that are in there making the noise and the singing.
Well, yeah, my first experience of it was walking down Manahementia, and there was possibly 100, 150, 200 of them, blocking the traffic. And and I think everyone was enjoying it, including, I have to say, about 10 Montenegrin fans who were probably the only fans in the stadium. I did look quite hard for them. I mean, kudos for them for, whether they were local or if they traveled all the way from Montenegro. But so that was my first experience of it, and I think it's the relentlessness of them that I think is incredibly infectious as well. And I mean, Rob can tell us, I guess, how that spurs all the players on. But I can only imagine it must be such a motivation when the support is constant, and it never seems to plateau or peter out. It always feels like it's at 100%.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I think someone said well on Twitter that if you compare this Pohjoiskarre to any other nation in Europe, for example, you don't find this kind of end like big as Pohjoiskarre. I would probably also agree with it. That okay, maybe if you go to Italy, England, the whole stadium is cheering, but like that you have one end and so many people dressed there in white, in blue, and then just chant the whole game. And to see this kind of fan atmosphere in Finland, it's not a football country still, and it's a small country, 5 million people, and to see this kind of atmosphere it's really hard to sometimes even believe it. And after game we were there dancing and chanting with them, and I was just looking at the sky and feeling like, oh, wow, this is one of the best feelings I have
This is your job. You get paid to do this.
Yeah, to dance and to chant and to just hug and kiss with teammates, whatever, and just like it's unbelievable. And I think it's like growing all the time. Like I said, it was Tuesday 7 p.m. against Montenegro. You know, if it would be against, like, I understand France, there's some to play for the playoffs, whatever, you understand it, but now you have Montenegro draw with Bosnia. You would see, you know, Finland as a country that also, you know, if you don't win, they're like, we don't care anymore, you know. So to see this kind of atmosphere, it's crazy, really.
It's like a home game. It's like actually like a proper home game, not
Yeah.
just like I don't know, Keke and Rich, if he was with us, would give an idea about Wembley, but like you say, it's a home end. That's where the noise comes from, and then it sort of spreads from there, and other parts of the ground join in.
I mean, when you're in that Pohjois-Karjala, it feels like all 5 million Finns are in there with you. It's
sometimes they probably are.
Yeah, it gets a bit packed in there, and it's the only place to be. You know, it's the atmosphere is electric. The you know, the capos do a fantastic job getting the crowd singing, and it's like Rob said, you know, like it's a proper ultras atmosphere. It's like you know, I've watched football all over the place. I've watched football in England, Sweden, Italy, and it's and the atmosphere in there is like nothing, is something else. It's fantastic, and it is like you get the passion for the national team there in the Pohjois-Karjala that these Italian ultras and Swedish ultras put into their club sides, you know, and it's so like there's guys from Honka in there, Jijiko Jyväskylä, my pals, you know, there's HJK, HIFK, it doesn't matter, you know, AC Oulu, doesn't matter who you support, you know, everyone's in there cheering for Finland. So it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think to you'll see it, Assam Yukor and all his the other boys that are organising it with him, you know, again, we kudos
salute
to you guys.
Yeah, salute to the lads.
Let's have well, I think we predicted before these games started that we'd be looking for 8 points from the 4 games. So let's put Robert on the spot one final time and say what's going on. What can we expect for the next 2 games? What are your predictions, Robert?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't watched the Bosnia-Romania game, but how Romania have played now, I think everybody is a little bit surprised, because I think a lot of people would have thought that they would be one of the candidates to win the group. So along with Bosnia, of course. So it's been a surprise for me, and I think for all of us, that how they have played. So I think we have to, of course, go and look for the win, because we have the momentum now, and there have been 2 losses now. They haven't scored a goal. So yeah, and again from them, I don't know. We won in Bosnia last time. You know, we have to go for a win again. So
that's it.
I'm not gonna say we're gonna win both games, but I would say 4 points is there for the taking.
You go into every game now trying to win, which is, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference if you compare to 5 years, 10 years back. Even of course the quality is a little bit, it's not like the top 10 countries in Europe, but still you can sense that every game we play we try to win, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Brilliant. Robert, thank you so much for all the time you've given us today. You're the first Hulkija to be on 2 episodes of the Finnish football show. So, you know, there's a very small claim to fame there.
Yeah. I'm honored.
Yeah, and so are we as well. Thank you very much. And we'll be following you and the guys as closely as we possibly can in the next week and beyond as well. So thanks again.
We'll get that Arsenal ticket as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, listen,
thanks.
Rob, thanks so much for joining us again, mate. And yeah, good luck to you and all the boys. We'll be watching. and yeah, bring home some points for us, mate. And yeah, just thanks for all your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And I'll tell the guys that you said hello, and we'll be in touch. And have a great summer.
Yeah, thanks, Robert.
Thanks.
I think that just about wraps up this episode. Thanks to my co-hosts for joining me. To Keke, goodbye, Keke.
Kiitos, näkemiin.
Goodbye, Rich.
Hey.
And Ali on his debut. Your debut, goodbye.
Moi moi.
Listener, thank you for listening. And until the next episode of the Finnish Football Show, goodbye. You've been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and on Instagram. See the links in the episode description below. You can also connect with the 4 hosts on Twitter, at Explore Finland, at FC Suomi, at Escape to Suomi, at Kekki Mulen. Links to the Finnish Football Show merch stores are also in the episode description.